Okay, everyone, as the movie kicks off, we're introduced to four friends who've come to a car race, all excited. There's Nick, Lori, and their two other friends, all sitting in section 180, and the atmosphere is buzzing with energy. But you see, Nick, he's a bit on edge. He's not really feeling the excitement. In fact, he's got this really uneasy feeling, like something bad is about to go down. He's picking up on all these little things around him. A cowboy who comes and sits right in front of them, an American couple getting instructions from a guard, a mother with her two kids, and a car mechanic with her best friend. Nick just can't shake this feeling that there's going to be a terrible accident, a crash, and sadly, he's right. A screwdriver, of all things, gets lodged in a car, number 45. It falls onto the track, punctures a tire, and bam, a car crashes. Then, horrifyingly, that tire flies off and hits the mechanic's friend, killing her instantly. Panic erupts. Cars are colliding all over the track, sending debris flying everywhere. Tragically, the American couple are also killed in the chaos. The engine of one of the cars rips out and falls on the mother, crushing her. The mechanic, running for her life, meets a gruesome end. Soon after, the cowboy is killed. Nick's friends try to flee, but the roof collapses on them, and they're gone. Then, a massive explosion rips through the area, taking Lori and the security guard with it. And just like that, Nick is also killed. Suddenly, Nick gasps, back in his senses. He's completely disoriented, trying to process what he just witnessed. At that exact moment, the cowboy sits down in front of them. Everything is unfolding exactly as he just saw it. It hits him. He's seen the future. Nick now knows what's coming. The accident, the crashes. The car that's about to crash, it really is number 45. Overwhelmed with fear, Nick blurts out that there's going to be a crash. Most people dismiss him, calling him crazy, and some even chase him out of the stadium. But before they can really react, his terrifying prediction comes true. Cars are smashing into each other. The American man's wife is trapped. He desperately tries to reach her, but the security guard holds him back as the wreckage engulfs the stadium. Everyone is terrified. Then, a flying tire comes out of nowhere and crushes the mechanic's friend, leaving everyone in shock and disbelief. The next night, a memorial is held for those who lost their lives. Nick and Lori attend and find other survivors, all grappling with the tragedy. The American man is there, his grief turning into anger as he blames the guard for his wife's death, convinced that if he'd been allowed through, she might still be alive. He's consumed by anger and a thirst for revenge. Later that night, Nick has another disturbing vision, this time of fire, which jolts him awake, confused by what it means. Meanwhile, fueled by alcohol and grief, the American man drives to the guard's house in his truck, the engine still running. In a tragic twist, loose beer cans hit the accelerator, and the truck starts moving. He gets caught in a chain, and the truck drags him. When fuel spills onto the chain, it ignites. He screams in agony, and the guard rushes outside to the horrifying scene. The truck explodes in a massive fireball. When Nick sees this on the news, he realizes that the fire in his vision was the American man's death. As he's trying to process this, he's hit with another vision. But this time, he can't identify who is in danger. We then see the mother from the racetrack at a salon with her kids, who are throwing stones at a signboard. A gardener tells them off and chases them away. While the mother is inside the salon, several near-miss accidents occur, any of which could have been fatal, but she narrowly escapes each one. However, on her way home, a stone hits the grass cutter, ricochets, and strikes her directly in the eye, killing her instantly. The shocking part? The stone was thrown by her own children. This confirms to Nick that death is still very much at work. He also notices the number 180 in a newspaper article about the incident. He and Lori start researching, trying to understand the concept of death and the significance of the number 180 in past disasters. They uncover information about death's pattern, the idea that if they can break the chain, it might stop. But it all feels so detached from reality. Nick has another vision, and while he now understands death's plan, he still can't see who the next target is. To figure it out, they go back to the stadium where the crash happened and meet the guard. He shows them the security footage, and Nick realizes that the mechanic is next. The three of them rush to the mechanic's shop and try to explain everything, but he's completely skeptical. Just then, a van speeds towards him, and he barely manages to jump out of the way. Now he believes them, but it's tragically too late. Instantly, a gas cylinder hurtles towards him and rips him apart. Nick then has a vision and realizes that his friends Hunt and Janet are next, and their deaths will involve water. They quickly come up with a plan. Nick will go to Hunt, who's at a water park, while Lori and the guard will go to Janet, who's heading to a car wash. Janet drives into the car wash, but there's a malfunction, and her car gets stuck. The doors lock, trapping her inside, and her phone has no signal. To make matters worse, the sunroof jams open just a crack, and then a water pipe bursts directly above, flooding the car. Meanwhile, at the water park, Hunt's lucky coin falls into the pool. He dives in to retrieve it, but sees it's gone down a drain hole. He reaches for it and gets stuck. Both Janet and Hunt are trapped in water, facing imminent danger. Janet manages to push her head out of the small sunroof opening, gasping for air, thinking she might be safe. But then the car starts moving, submerging her completely. Just in the nick of time, Lori arrives and, using her car, manages to pull Janet's car back, saving her life. They succeeded in rescuing Janet, but Hunt is still trapped. Nick arrives, frantically searching for him, but tragically, Hunt dies a gruesome death underwater. So, Hunt is gone, but Janet is safe. The guard is next. He's lost his family and has nothing left to live for, so he's not afraid of death. However, Lori and Nick find a clue that they think can save him. Following the instructions, they go to his house and find him hanging, but still alive. He explains he's been trying to end his life all morning but has failed every time. They believe that by saving Janet, they've broken death's chain and can finally live peacefully. They decide to celebrate with a trip. Nick is packing, while Lori is with Janet, watching a movie. Then, Nick sees a news report about the cowboy. He survived the crash. Nick realizes that if the cowboy was meant to die in the initial crash, but survived, death will come for him now. He rushes to the hospital, calling the guard to meet him there. They arrive too late. Death has already struck, and the cowboy dies before their eyes. Helpless, Nick and the guard leave immediately to try and save Lori and Janet. As they're walking and talking, a speeding ambulance comes out of nowhere and hits the guard, sending him flying. Nick reaches the mall and has another terrifying vision. He searches for Lori and finds her in a movie theater. But death is already at work. A fire breaks out in the room next to the cinema. Nick finds Lori and tells her they need to leave, that death hasn't stopped. But Janet refuses to go, wanting to enjoy the movie. Then a huge explosion is shown on screen, mirroring reality, and it kills Janet. Lori is next. They try to escape the mall, but the explosion has caused widespread destruction. Lori's foot gets stuck on the accelerator. She dies right in front of Nick. Suddenly, Nick snaps back to reality. He's leaving the hospital with the guard, just as it happened in his vision. He knows what's about to happen to the guard, but before he can warn him, the ambulance hits him. Then Nick goes to the cinema, but instead of going inside, he heads straight to the room where the fire started, determined to save everyone. He fights the flames, getting injured in the process, but he manages to put the fire out. He believes he saved countless lives. 2 weeks later, we see a bus with the number 180 on it. Nick, Lori, and the guard are sitting in a cafe called Death by Caffeine. Nick starts noticing all sorts of familiar, ominous clues. He's disturbed by this, realizing that perhaps he hasn't changed anything, hasn't saved anyone. The blast at the mall never happened in this new reality. It seems Death played a cruel trick on them. Death wasn't following their rules. They were following Death's. He can't shake the feeling that even sitting in this cafe could be part of Death's plan. Just as he's thinking this, a train comes hurtling towards the cafe and crushes the three of them. The movie ends with their deaths. Please subscribe to our channel for more movie explanations like this. Don't forget to like and share this video if you found it helpful.